Welcome back to Beyond the Numbers. Hi, I'm Omolola Astrop and I'm glad to have you here. This is tutorial 6. In the last 5 tutorials, we have discussed SQL fundamentals. Today, we are moving from SQL to Power BI. We are moving towards visualizing everything you have learned in extracting and shaping data. Before we move to Power BI, let's remind ourselves on the things we have covered. Tutorial 2 gave you select, from, where, and order by. You can pull exactly the columns you need, filter to the rows that matter, and sort your results. Tutorial 3 gave you joins. You can connect 2, 3, or more tables using shared key columns. You can answer questions that live across multiple tables, and that is where most real business questions live. Tutorial 4 gave you group by and having. You can aggregate data into groups, count, sum, average, and filter on those aggregated values. Tutorial 5 gave you window functions. You can rank, accumulate, and compare without collapsing your rows. You can now extract, filter, join, aggregate, and rank data from any relational database, and that is the SQL foundation. Now we want to visualize it, we want to make it visible. I want to spend this slide on the full SQL execution order because it ties everything together. From loads the tables, including all joins. Where filters individual rows. Group by collapses into groups. Having filters those groups. Select chooses the columns, and this is where window functions run. Order by sorts the results, and limit caps the rows returned. The sequence is why all the rules in this series exist. Where before having, because where runs at step 2. Having runs at step 4. Window functions after group by, because select runs at step 5 after grouping. Aliases cannot be used in where, because the alias is created in select, which runs later. So every SQL rule connects back to this execution order. I want you to keep this slide. You can screenshot it. It is one diagram that explains everything. Now, what is Power BI? Power BI is Microsoft Business Intelligence tool. It connects to data, transforms it, models relationships between tables, and turns everything into an interactive dashboard. Look at this 7-step workflow on the screen. You have SQL, which extracts your data that you need from the mentorship DB. Then you have export. You get that data out as a CSV or connect Power BI directly to MySQL. Power Query. You clean and transform the data inside Power BI. Model. You define how the tables relate to each other. Visualize. You drag fields onto charts, cards, and tables. Calculate. You write DAX measures, which are like SQL aggregates but inside Power BI. Refresh. If you have a live connection, the dashboard updates automatically. Notice the box at the bottom here. Your SQL skills are the foundations of all of this. So Power BI Power Query is a visual version of what SQL where and join do. DAX measures are a version of what SQL counts and sum do. The concepts are not new. It's just a different tool now. There are 2 ways to get your mentorship underscore DB data into Power BI. Method 1 is exporting as CSV from DBeaver. Run your query, right-click the results, export data, save as CSV. Then in Power BI, get data, text CSV, and load the file. This is the simplest approach, and this is what we are going to use today. Look at the method 2. It connects Power BI directly to MySQL. Get data, search for MySQL, enter localhost as the server, mentorship underscore DB as the database, your credentials, and load the tables directly. The dashboard then has a live connection. When the database changes, the dashboard updates. So method 1 is for beginners and one-time analysis, while method 2 is for professional deliverables and live reporting. In this episode, we're going to use method 1 to keep the focus on Power BI concepts. The next tutorial, we're going to use the second method, which we're going to set up the live MySQL connection properly. So the two SQL queries you need to export are on the left side of this slide. Run them in DBeaver and export both as CSV and keep the files ready. When you open Power BI Desktop, there are 3 views on the left side panel. Those 3 icons control everything. So look at the report view, the canvas. This is where you build visuals and arrange them into a dashboard. It is what your audience sees when you are sharing the report, and you will spend most of your time here. The table view, that's where you have the data, a spreadsheet style view of every table you have loaded. Use this to check that your data loaded correctly before you build anything. Verify row counts, check column values, and so on. Then you have the model view, the relationship, a diagram showing how your tables connect. This is the most critical view to get right. If relationships are wrong, every calculation and every visual will be wrong. So you build relationships here before you build any visuals. The order matters. Table view to verify your data, model view to set relationships, then report view to build. Step 1 is getting your data in. If you look at the slide, on the left side of the slide, we have 2 SQL queries. Run both in DBeaver and export as CSV. Query 1, customer summary. This joins customers to transactions, filters for 2023, and gives you each customer's name, state, account type, total transaction value, and number of transactions. This is what you use for the customer visuals. Query 2, monthly deposits, month number, month name, and total deposit value for each month of 2023. This is what you use for time-based visual. Once you get both CSV files, open Power BI Desktop, Home tab, Get Data, text CSV, load customer summary first, transform it if needed, and check column types. Repeat for monthly deposits. Then you switch to the table view to verify the counts. Customer summary should have roughly 40 rows based on the data that we have in the GitHub. Then monthly deposits should have 12 rows, one per month. These are pre-aggregated summary tables. No relationship is needed between them for this particular tutorial. So switch to report view and we start building. For visuals, all on one canvas. Just imagine that we want to do something on everything on one canvas. Visual 1, we want a card, the simplest visual in Power BI. If you click card in the visualization panel, drag sum of total underscore 23 into the fields well. Format it to show Naira options. Add a title rather, total 2023 transaction value. One number, instantly readable. This is what KPI card does. Then visual 2, a clustered bar chart. Y-axis is state, x-axis is sum of total underscore 2023. Sort the bars by value, not alphabetically. Add data label so that each bar shows the actual number. Then this answers which state drove the most value. The third visual, a line chart. The x-axis here will be the month name and the y-axis will be the deposits. If you sort the x-axis by month, the number column, not month name. If you sort alphabetically, April comes before January and the line makes no sense. So you have to sort by month number and the trend reads left to right correctly. Then look at Visual 4. We want a matrix. This is Power BI's version of a pivot table. You have rows like name, values, total underscore 2023, and number of transactions. Sort by total underscore 2023 in descending order. If you resize to show the top 10 customers, this can also be used to answer the question which customers are the highest value and the most transactions. Arrange all four on one canvas, no scrolling, and everything is visible at once to your stakeholders. Look at this slide, which is very important, not because of the technical content, but because of the mindset it represents. In tutorials 2 through 5, the so what was a comment in your SQL code where you have so what like Lagos owed 30% of our customer base. You were the only one who could say it, and it was useful to you. But from tutorial 6 onwards, the so what lives on the dashboard. This is what we want to see. We want your stakeholders to see your so what. It's a text box visible to everyone who opens the report. The head of retail, the chief financial officer, the board, they can all see the so what. Look at the right side of this slide. Not just Lagos is big. Lagos generates 3 times Abuja's transactions volume. Not just November is busy, but plan liquidity accordingly. Then you can see that it's not just that Southwest leads, it also prioritized Lagos branch resilience. The skill is the same. You're still finding the story in the data, but the audience gets a bigger view now and the stakes get higher. Every dashboard you build from this point, add a key findings text box, 3 sentences minimum, the situation, what it means, and what to do. This is what makes your work stand out. Now, from all what we have discussed today, you have an assignment, and the assignment for this episode is 3 questions your dashboard must answer for the head of retail banking. 1. Which customers generated the most 2023 transaction value and what percentage of the total did each account for? 2. The second question, which state had the highest total transaction value and how does the distribution look across all states? Then the third question is, in which month did deposits peak and how did they compare to the month before? Build all these 3 visuals on one canvas. Then, before you screenshot it, add a text box with your so what. 3 sentences, what the data shows, what it means, and what the bank or the organization should do. Screenshot your dashboard and post in the comments. We'll all look through it and we're going to comment on it as well. In the next episode, we're going to introduce ourselves to Power BI. We'll have a deeper dive into Power BI, what it is, how to get your data in, and how to build your first visuals. We'll talk more about that. We're going to set a live MySQL connection. We're not going to use CSV exports. We'll build the full data model, relationship between all 4 tables in the data that we have, the mentorship underscore DB. We will write 4 DAX measures, sum, calculate, divide, and average X. We'll add slicers to the dashboard, and we are going to do this professional formatting in terms of colors, fonts, branding, and layouts. By the end of tutorial 7, you will be able to have a portfolio-ready dashboard, something you can put on your LinkedIn, something you can show in an interview, built entirely from data you have been working with from episode 2. Subscribe so you don't miss this. So, like I said in the previous slide, I want you to export your screenshot what you have done and put it in the comments. Share this video with as many people as you can that you know that they are learning data analytics. Once again, I am Omolola Astrop, and this is Beyond the Numbers. See you next time. Bye.